Hello, I'm your host, Linda Kasonde. I'm a lawyer who spent several years as an advocate for human rights, justice, and the rule of law in my native country, Zambia. This podcast was born out of the need to share women's experiences of leadership and to advocate for more women to take up leadership positions, based on themes in my memoir, Women, Resilience, and the Will to Lead. We cover topics ranging from motherhood to running for office, ambition, and managing the imposter syndrome. I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to another episode of Women, Resilience, and the Will to Lead. And in this edition, we are featuring Zambian songbird, Wezi Mhone, who actually happens to be one of my favorite singers. And today we discuss using your voice as a force for good. We're taking a short break. We'll be right back.
At F&B's Her Banking, we believe in helping every woman rise with tailored financial solutions to meet their needs. As a female-led business customer of F&B, you can access unsecured business loans of up to 500,000 kwacha. You also get discounted interest rates on your loan and a 50% cashback on your loan arrangement fees. We're here to support your business growth journey with Her Banking. T's and C's apply. F&B. How can we help you?
How can we help you? Hello, Wezi.
Hello.
How are you?
I am very well, thank you. How are you?
I am so well, and I'm so delighted that you decided to join us today.
I am humbled, actually. I'm a big fan.
I am equally a fan. I have to tell you, you are one of my favorite singers.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And, we were discussing earlier as we were preparing for this interview, I said to you that I actually don't recall having seen any interview of you anywhere. I'm sure they're out there, but you're not somebody who has regular media interviews. Yes. Can you tell us a bit about that? Why is that?
I think that I'm very anxious. I'm very nervous about the individuals that I will be having conversations with and how they manipulate the outcome of the conversation we have. So I have to be very trusting of you to agree to sit down with you. And it's very rare for me to trust people. I don't know where that came from.
No, I totally get it, because there was an interview I did for Women's Day. And the only reason why I said yes, because I told the person, you know what? I've done so many interviews. Can you interview somebody new? They said, no, it's okay. We want to interview you, somebody as old as well as somebody new. And I said to them, okay, but my focus that I wanted to concentrate on was on women's rights. Yes. And talking about GBV, headline, first last woman president, what? I was like, no, it's not what I had intended. Yeah. So I totally get it. Yeah. But let's get to you.
Okay.
Who are you, Wezi?
Yeah. I love to define myself as a divine creation from God. That's first of all my identity, according to how I see myself, before I assume my gender, my race, and my bloodline. But I am an offspring of two faith leaders. My father was Apostle Simon Mhone the late, and my mother is Pastor Royce. And I define myself according to where I come from. I'm from Ndola. I was raised there, and I am the elder sister to two of my younger siblings and the young sister to my elder sister, Faye. Yeah, that's pretty much what I define myself as. But if people want to know me beyond that, I would say I'm a creative, I'm a music artist, and I'm also an activist.
Indeed. And we're just going to pause here to play a clip of one of my favorite songs of yours, which is called Take My Heart.
Oh, wow.
I love it. Just listen in. For those of you who haven't heard before, it's a beautiful song.
Kukamba vazaona sina zive Deinga bwele ya meneo nganisi 'cause you carry my joy, you carry my reason to live and to breathe every day in an akana suyenda daba mutima wanga ulitaitina wako nizankala wanjine. Take my heart, take my heart daba mutima ene ulianchita kulia wewe mukwao. Take my eyes, take my eyes. Amasonga ngenga manyigwe kamukwano.
As I was saying, Take My Heart is one of my favorite songs that you've done. And it's a cover of a song that was originally sung by General Ozzy.
Yes.
But you've really just made it your own. And maybe also just add that my cousin, Charlie Mulalami, is the writer of that song.
Wow. He's
So
your cousin.
shout out to him.
Yes.
And the amazing work that he does.
Yes, yes.
But could you just tell us what your personal favorite song is and why?
My favorite song, actually, I don't know if it's a hymn. It's called Shepherd of My Soul. I don't know who wrote it. I don't know who originally sang it, but that's been my favorite song for a very long time. There's something about the chord progression, there's something about the musicality, and then the lyrics that calms me down. It takes me to a point where I can be, I think it neutralizes me. If I'm here, I'm too excited or too low, it takes me to like my center. So I respect that song for that reason. That's why it's my favorite song. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, music is just the ultimate balm for the soul,
Yeah.
particularly in troubling times.
Yes, especially.
So, indeed, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but do you have a personal favorite of your own songs?
Yes. It depends on the day. And so today my favorite song could be a song titled Nekukakale. Tomorrow it could be something else, but today, because you're asking me this question today, I'll tell you the song is titled Nekukakale. It was originally written together with Sebastian Italy and myself. It was co-written by me. And it's a song where you talk about moving away from toxicity, being liberated from a place where you thought I wouldn't survive outside this environment, and then you actually take a leap of faith, you relocate. It could be out of an abusive situation, or it could be a home, it could be a city, it could be a work environment, it could be anything, but if it's something that does not serve you. So for me, that's what the song means from that point, and today, that's my favorite song by me.
I love that. I love that. Actually, our next episode will be featuring Dr. Maria Kani, and she's written a book called How Can I Make the Pain Go Away? And it talks about, painful, stressful situations, and one of the suggestions she makes is that you need to remove yourself from the situation that is causing you the pain, the toxic situation, or what, if you like.
I like
So,
that.
yeah,
We've got a theme song
beautiful
for the
song.
book.
Indeed, indeed. So you've recently decided to become your own manager.
Yes.
Which is like a big boss move.
Yeah.
Tell us about that decision and why you made it.
First of all, I liked the way that I was managed for a little while, and then I think that I wasn't growing.
Okay.
So I think that the people that managed me did not see me grow. I think they liked where I was, and I no longer used to feel safe. I didn't feel like the box that they put me in, I think that I outgrew it. So I felt like it's a bit more flexible for me to expand when I'm the one who's calling the shots when it comes to me. Because if, let's say, you call me and say, we want you to sit with Wezi, And if my management were in charge, they would be like, no, she's not ready, you know, for that type of, I'm just giving an example. It could be that type of situation. Or maybe they would make an excuse, she's underprepared, or she got a broken leg, she can't show up, you know, such things. But when I'm my own manager, I'm able to assess, make an executive decision that is based on my well-being and also the well-being of my career.
That's very interesting because I'm a huge Oprah Winfrey fan. I have a story for anything in life from Oprah. But she talks about how when she worked for a particular TV station, she was cast in the role of The Color Purple.
Yes.
And she couldn't get the time off that she needed to do it properly because of her contract. Okay. And she said that when she decided to create her own show, that was one of the driving factors for doing that, because her lawyer reminded her, remember The Color Purple and how you were constrained by your contract. And, and that's what made her take the decision to own herself.
And that's the own network. I love it.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. So another thing that I like about you is that I think you're a real Zambian, very authentic.
Oh, thank
you.
Thank you very much.
And in particular, on social media, you're deliberate about talking about being natural, you're owning your skin, your natural hair. Tell us about that and why it's important to represent that to your fans.
So the reason why I put out content to encourage people to stay natural is because I understand that even though women love to look nice, to dress up, I want them also to understand that the definition of beauty does not exclusively exist in having artificial hair and having makeup and having extensions and all that stuff. I mean, it's fun. I can do it. I've got my, you know, acrylic nails here and there, but I don't do it because I have to. I do it because I want to, not because I feel ugly without it. And I want, like, especially the younger ones that are looking for someone to show them that it's okay to walk around with a head wrap and not be an old person and not be called old. Yeah, that's why.
I love that. So I've recently just watched the documentary on TLC, the group, the girl band.
Those guys.
And it was quite amazing. And obviously they sang the song.
You can buy your hair.
Exactly. So I forgot what the title is.
Yeah, I always forget the title.
Yeah, but basically the line is, you shouldn't let anyone make you feel unpretty.
Yes.
Unpretty, I think, is the name of the song, in fact.
Yes.
And another one of my favorite songs about this is India Arie's I Am Not My Hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I love the fact that you're also representing that for us here. And on a personal note, I think it was last year, you posted about your own personal experience with cyberbullying.
Yes.
People bullying you for your appearance in the manner you've just described. And you posted a very sort of vulnerable note about feeling depressed at the attacks that were being leveled against you. Could you tell us about that experience and what it taught you?
First and foremost, I've never looked at myself. I've never defined myself according to other people's opinions, but I understand that I'm not bulletproof. And words are like bullets. And I think that at times they are more lethal because they are the ones that incite the bullets at times. So that post was made bearing in mind that I'm an offspring of a woman who I look exactly like. So if you're going to say, for example, I look like a dog, what are you trying to say about the people that I look like, you know? And there are strangers that have got my features. Small eyes, wide smile, dark skin.
Small eyes.
Yeah. So I feel like I wasn't speaking for myself, but I believe that when you are talking about cyberbullying, you don't use aggressiveness with aggressiveness. You show vulnerability to appeal to the emotions of others, because at the end of the day, I have faith in humanity. I have faith that I'm speaking to human beings. So they might try to act tough. They might try to act like, she's overreacting. But the truth of the matter is that you know what I'm saying is true. And I will not, I'm a strong person, but I don't have a problem with being vulnerable at the right time, because I think that is the most empowering thing you can be, allowing yourself to be vulnerable at the right times.
I am 100% subscribed to that view. It's tough being in the public eye. So often people dehumanize you because, you know, they can just type something anonymously on a keyboard and be faceless. But behind the person they're attacking is a human being. And you're also taking away from your own humanity when you choose to attack somebody that way. So I'm really glad that you spoke out about that issue. It's an issue that's very, you know, I'm very passionate about. You know, when I see people attacked in that way, I do try and speak out as well. So yeah, well done to you for showing that vulnerability.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, you're not just a great singer.
Thank you.
You are also an activist. And one of the most notable acts you took up as an activist was that youth protest in the bush.
Yes.
Okay, so for those of you who are not familiar with this, I'll allow Wezi to explain the situation in which she found herself, and also just tell us why that event was so important to Zambia.
Okay. The youth protest was initially termed as the 22nd June protest. It was organized by 3 youths that I had never seen before in my life. But when I listened and I did my research on everything that they stand for, I believed that they needed solidarity from not just public figures, but people that believe in their cause. And their cause, because was championing the well-being of Zambia, it was my cause. And I believed the cause of anybody that is a well-meaning citizen. So we reached out, when I say we, my fellow artists and myself, we reached out to them and we decided to be part of we just wanted to work with them. You know, they came up with the idea, we just wanted to work with them. And then during that period, there was a little boy named Frank Mugala. When he was gunned down in the manner that he was gunned down, and for me, the way that it circulated on social media, videos of him lifeless with his books, his body in a school uniform, that was just wrong on all levels. We are not living in a war zone. That shouldn't exist in a peaceful country like ours. So that triggered me to be one of the speakers. Otherwise, initially, I just wanted to work with them. And then everybody had something that they were passionate about. So we had activists that are passionate about gender equality. Some of them are more passionate about water and sanitation. Others were more passionate about ending tribalism and, you know, transparency, accountability of leaders, elected officials. And there were so many things that they were passionate about. And we just, you know, it was like a body. You bring in the lungs, you bring in the kidneys, different functions, but that's how it works. So I wasn't so passionate about talking about corruption, but I was very passionate about the person that was passionate about talking about corruption. Because I felt like I really don't have the guts that they have. But they also were looking at me like, I really don't have the guts to talk about extrajudicial killings the way that you're approaching it. So we felt like we're going to make a team and you will tackle this issue, I will tackle this issue. And we ended up tackling different issues. Of course, prioritizing prayer and also studying the Constitution, making sure we're not breaking the law, because at least even then we need to make sure that we are setting a good example. At the end of the day, you can't fight lawlessness with lawlessness. So we had to study and make a move. So we were at a time when we were advised not to do a peaceful march to raise awareness on issues pertaining to the issues. We wrote to the police. We explained everything that we were, desiring to express on our placards and in our protests, the main message. And we were not allowed to walk, and we were threatened. One lawmaker was seen on video saying we should break the bonds of the youth that are intending to march. And even at the time, the head of state of that time on main news at some point was also issuing threats together with some of his ministers. And it was a scary time. And for my mother's sake, I thought of backing out. But then I thought that child had a mother too. And I want to put myself in that position where if my mother has to lose me because I went against certain people, she will understand, and Zambia will understand what happened to Frank Mugala's mother too. And then from there, because we couldn't walk, we understood that even though we are putting our lives on the line, we don't want to put the lives of innocent people. So we decided not to walk, not because we were scared to be killed, but because we were scared that it could turn bloody and we might not be the ones to lose our lives. Innocent people could accidentally get shot because it had happened to Mapenzi Jivulo. It had happened to Vespa Shimujina, So it wasn't like it was a deliberate thing. Like in the event that this thing happens, what will happen? So we can't walk for the sake of these people that want to stand in solidarity with us. So the Bush protest was a group initiative by the different people that had different, causes on their hearts, together with the 3 youth that came up with a plan. And then because we found that it was safer and it would have a wider reach, everybody from Winilunga to Katimamulilo to Lundazi, everyone would be watching it at the same time. They would be, we advise that you protest online. Whatever it is that you want to express to the nation to see Zambia better, you do it online with us. So we were advising people to take part of the protest. That's why we made it like an online movement. So that's why we went to the bush. It wasn't like an anti-government thing. For me personally, I believe that we were very passionate about the well-being of Zambia. And when you look back at everything, because it happened in public, you look back at everything that we said, it's something that even these are causes that we'll be championing for the rest of our lives if we're very honest people.
Yeah, that really was a very scary time, and it was so brave of you all to stand up and protest. Because I remember very vividly, there were actually police, in fact armed police with tanks going in search of you youth protesters. So can you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, I can laugh about it today, but
Yeah.
the thought of that every time from June 22nd when the protest happened until somewhere during our tripartite elections, I used to have it took me into a depression and an anxiety situation where I was scared of crowds, scared of sirens, I was scared of seeing people in uniform. It was really it was a traumatic time and phase, and I'm still getting out of it. I don't know if I'll ever fully recover, but I'm still getting out of it. That was a scary time to see people, with guns, not small guns, like big guns, battalions, and then I'm with my placard, and it's like, what kind of a fight is this? It's not really fair.
No, I hear you. It really wasn't, and I'm glad that you're, talking about the impact it's had on you. Because sometimes I watch people post in response to your posts and say things like, you're quiet now. And I'm like, do you know what the cost of speaking out is? Yeah, so I'm really glad that you were able to take that stance.
Thank you very much.
But I also want to ask you more generally whether you think the youth in Zambia participate enough in the governance of our country in between elections. We know very well that in the last election, well, certainly anecdotally, the youth came out in large numbers, and Zambia is well known for effecting change to the ballot box. Yeah. But my concern is really in between elections. Yeah. Do you think the youth are doing enough? What more can be done?
In my humble opinion, I think that we can do more. Yeah, and it's a we thing, it's not an I thing, and that's the biggest issue is we have people that we consider the voice of the voiceless, and I feel like in a democracy we shouldn't have the voiceless, and Diaconia, BBC, Media Action, and Michael Zulu came up with this initiative called Pass Me the Mic, where we're like, you know what? My voice is a bit hoarse from speaking. I'm passing you the mic. Because you say that you don't have the platform, I will provide the platform, you provide the voice. Speak for yourself, because I believe that we need to understand that democracy isn't about elections. You know, democracy exists independently away from politics. It's about the way that we hold each other accountable in our homes. It's about the way that we interact with each other in communities and even on a national level. Before we even involve politicians, it's about how we conduct ourselves morally as human beings. Yeah.
I also want to touch on the fact, I mean, your activism is quite broad in a sense. And one of the things you seem to be very passionate about as well is the fight against gender-based violence.
Yes.
Tell us about that, why you're so passionate about that, and why you feel the government needs to do more to stop this scourge.
Yeah. Oh, that's a very powerful question. I come from a family where these conversations they were there, but they were not there. You know what? They are whispers. I don't know, you can, like a public secret. You know this story, but you're scared to talk about it because, you know, it's big people issues. But when I grew up and understood, like, what domestic violence is and this whole toxic masculinity, the patriarchy, these are terminologies that I've now learned, but for a long time, women used to tolerate being beaten, and some of them used to romanticize it, you know? And I feel like the ignorance of it all is the one that propels this into becoming even more severe. So now the headlines of a woman being killed by her husband are more frequent than ever before. The headlines of even boyfriends beating their girlfriends at university level are there. And when we are all quiet, it means we are consenting as a society. So when government, I am part of government just by being a citizen. When we actively participate in pronouncing and denouncing gender-based violence, we are fighting it. You know, sometimes it just begins with having this conversation, you know, the way we are having it now, and then now taking it out there. There are people who are ashamed of talking about their experiences, but there are people who are brave enough to stand, you know, and speak about their experiences, and that will change things gradually. And I believe in gradual change as opposed to having like an abrupt change, because easy come, easy go. But if we want to make like a permanent solution, we need to put our heads together. That's what I believe in. So I like the idea of being consistent when it comes to voicing up against gender-based violence, because women, even if we are strong in many aspects of our nature, it's rare that you can overpower a man physically when you're throwing fists. It's rare. You could even be the one to start the fights, but it's rare when a man is at full rage. It's very rare. So we need to have conversations about that. Women who are playing a role in provoking men, you know, sometimes it's not the man that starts the fight, but even then self-control still needs to be like something that we need to discuss, because she could be the one that starts the fight. But like I said, you don't break the law while trying to correct the lawbreaker, you know. So it might be an offender, but you don't have to, you know, she might be an offender, but you don't have to kill her to show that, oh, I'm a man, you know what I mean? So all of us are participating in gender-based violence, even us who are not affected directly, okay? We are all participating by either keeping quiet or talking about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think definitely the most worrying thing about gender-based violence that we're seeing more than ever is this femicide, the killing of women in acts of gender-based violence. And one of the problems we face in our society, I mean, you talked about the romanticizing of gender-based violence. You know, sentiments like, if he doesn't love you, he won't beat you. Things like that, and that victims, when they want to report these issues to the authorities, the police, whether it's victim support or an ordinary police station, because it's such a normalized thing in society, it's not taken seriously.
Yeah.
And I think we need to encourage more women to report these issues, and we also need to insist that those in authority, the police, who are charged with supporting these victims, make sure that the perpetrators are caught and that the case is properly prosecuted in the courts of law.
Yeah, I totally agree. So there's a woman who was seen in Matero, I think. That's one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen. Her head was being banged against the wall, and it was a viral video. And after that video went viral, the authorities went to their home and apprehended the man. And she was the one who was at the forefront advocating for his release, saying he's the breadwinner. So those sentiments are actually they touch on a lot of things. So I have a song titled By My Love, where I talk about love being bought, because some people end up being committed to men for the sake of trying to escape poverty. So it also goes into my activism for women empowerment, because a lot of women will stay trapped in loveless marriages where they are spat on, insulted, disrespected perpetually for the rest of their lives, because they don't have a stable source of income. They don't have opportunities like men do in our society.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to move on slightly to something else you're passionate about, on a more positive note. So you're also a huge sports fan.
Yes.
And in particular, you are a fan of our Copper Queens.
Yes, very.
Tell us about how you became a sports enthusiast and why it's so important to support our female athletes.
Yeah, I love that. I was raised in a home with full of men. It was practically my grandmother, my sister Jackie, and my late aunt Doreen. But my grandma passed away, my aunt passed away, and Jackie went to university, and the female relatives used to come and go, but I was consistently around the boys. So I couldn't overpower them to watch Powerpuff Girls. So if they are all watching Liverpool, I'm just like, hey, Liverpool. And then we're watching cricket, we're watching golf, we're watching boxing, so it grew on me. I started liking it. It's almost as if my brother at some point started liking Passions by Miguel, Sheridan, Teresa, because people used to sit down and talk about it. So now I also, it grew on me to like sports because the boys were always watching sports. And then it was like a bonding thing for the family. So I didn't know that when I grow up, I won't be interested in other things. I'm more interested in my spare time. That's how I define my leisure. Go and watch a game of rugby, basketball, or anything like that. The Copper Queens, however, are also fundamentally me mixing my activist nature together with my fan for sports, because when I sit down to see how brilliant Barbara is, Barbara Banda, our captain, she'll tell you, they told me not to play football. She'll tell you she was discouraged not just by people from up there, sometimes even her own relatives, friends, and then they started to believe because of her determination. And Catherine Peary is the first WBC boxer. I always brag about her. She's my best friend. She won the World Boxing Council, the bantamweight title. She was the first African female to win that in history. And then her story is similar. She only got support when people believed in her. And that's the sentiment for most female athletes. And I believe that, okay, I have an opportunity now because of my passion for sports to encourage these women so that the people at the back who are literally discouraging young girls from doing it, it's like Barbara is doing it. She's getting paid lots of money. She's making headlines for being one of the most expensive transfers, and Rachel Kondananji as well. So if our Copper Queens are doing it, now what is your excuse? Why are you holding back a talent because of the agenda? At this particular point, you're behaving backwards. So that's my passion for the Copper Queens. I feel like they're a very good example for gender equality.
Yes, and great ambassadors for our country.
Yes.
You mentioned people will often only support you when they see you winning.
Yes.
Right? But before that, you personally have to make the decision that this is what you want to do and persevere. And one of my favorite quotations, which I put in my book, is by Lorraine Wagner. And she said, there's going to be plenty of people who try and limit what you can do. Don't limit yourself. So I think that both stories of Catherine Peary and Barbara are excellent examples of that.
Shout outs to them.
Indeed, indeed. The other thing that interested me about you, when I Googled you, I discovered that you were born and raised in Ndola. And for those of you who might not understand why, so you sing predominantly in Tumbuka. And you know, there's a big sort of Coppola swag thing happening, and often people will sing in Bemba because that is the common culture. Language on the Copper Belt. But you seem to have a deliberate decision to sing in Tumbuka. Tell us about why it's so important to sing in your mother tongue.
First of all, I did have the privilege to learn Bemba. Unfortunately, I went to government schools. I had a distinction in local language, but my tongue was a bit heavy because I think the war between the Bembas and the Easterners was like at home. It was real. Osalabida Chwemba, Chwemba nchaka walala. Yes, the banter, the chimbuya. So for me, I didn't know in the beginning that that was banter, that's chimbuya and banter. Me, I took it serious, like, so when you speak Bemba, people will be like, we spotted, we've got another thief. Like, the whole town is full of thieves. So, but I really I took it very, like, okay, I won't speak this language. But again, the home where I was raised, we all spoke Chikunda. And Tumbuka, I sing in Tumbuka because that's my tribe. But predominantly I speak my mother's language, which is Chikunda. So both are Eastern languages. And I just never had the opportunity because I was at Dominican Convent Secondary School. We stayed like from 6:30 to 15:30 speaking English. And then you go home, you're speaking Nyanja. So I didn't have the time to learn Bemba. But the people that were determined learned. I don't know, I was never interested because Bemba nchaka walala.
I'm Bemba, so I'm trying hard not to take offense, but it's Chimbuya, so I will accept. Right, so I also wanted to talk about what is next for Wezi?
I don't know what not to. I don't like to preempt. I like to be like, ooh, surprise. Okay, but I think I can say because I'm managing myself and I've got like a healthy team of people that I'm working with. My plan is to release a new body of work, music videos, and I'm trying to explore different genres of music, not just soul music. I want to touch a little bit of reggae because I was on this Grammy-nominated album with a reggae artist from Jamaica. So I felt that. I felt like, oh, I can do reggae. You know, it sounded good. It was nominated for the Grammys. I was like, yeah, I think this could work. Let me try it. So I'm trying to tap into reggae a little bit. And also I want to see how I can be formal. I have a formal way of approaching my activism. So if I could create an organization that works with sports and arts and see who I can collaborate with. I think that's the direction I want to go. I've already started taking that direction. I don't want to say too much.
Okay.
Yeah, but those are my plans.
Fantastic. We like to see you stretching yourself in different ways. So brilliant. And also congratulations on being on a Grammy-nominated album. Fantastic.
Yay.
I didn't hear about this. Why are we not celebrating this anyway? Yeah, so that's really, really good.
Thank you.
We're taking a short break. We'll be right back.
At F&B's Her Banking, we believe in helping every woman rise with tailored financial solutions to meet their needs. As a female-led business customer of F&B, you can access unsecured business loans of up to 500,000 kwacha. You also get discounted interest rates on your loan and a 50% cashback on your loan arrangement fees. We're here to support your business growth journey with Her Banking. T's and C's apply. F&B. How can we help you?
How can we help you? Wezi, I'd like us to end with you singing a little bit from another one of my favorite songs of yours,
Yeah.
Nyimbo Zako.
Oh, you pronounced it wrong.
Nyimbo Zako.
Yes.
Okay, all
No,
right.
but we understand the member.
No, my dear, it's even worse than that.
Yes.
So, Nyimbo Zako.
Yeah.
Tell us about what the song is about.
Okay.
And tell us about it, and then we can go into the song.
Nyimbo Zako, the words mean, direct translation into English means your songs.
Mm-hmm.
And the first part of the song, I was describing myself. I'm a dreamer. I didn't grow up in poverty and whatever, no. But I had these issues where I lost my father when I was really young. And I was raised by my mom's elder brother, Uncle Goodwin in Dola. But I still missed my dad. My uncle was very accurate in being a provider and a caregiver. I could never fault him for that. But I still missed my dad. And growing up feeling sad about that, I used to feel guilty, you know. And then that song came from a place of introspection, of hoping that this song would open doors for me. And when I was writing that, it now grew into becoming something like a self-prophecy, because when I was writing that song, nobody knew Wezi. Yeah, nobody knew me. I had only 3 songs that I recorded, and they were not hit songs. But when this song dropped, I won awards and stuff like that. But it was never something that I expected. But I was telling myself to sing my songs. And after this song dropped, I started singing my songs. So I pride myself beyond being a vocalist or being an activist. I pride myself in being a songwriter. And that's why this song is very important to me. And directly translating, when I'm speaking to you, I'll tell you, whatever it is that you are passionate about as Linda Kasonde, that is your song. I believe that every soul has its own song. So whatever it is that you are passionate about is your song as a human being. So that is Nyimbo Zako.
I love it. So if you could just honor us by singing maybe just the chorus as we end. And I can't wait. I love your voice.
Okay. Here goes. There's no auto-tune here. Imba nyimbo zako, bakumvwe ulabila, usankale na mwezo mumtima wako, zimbishe nyimbo zako. I hope I did well.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Wezi, it's been such an honor to have you here. I really enjoyed talking to you. I hope you enjoyed it as well.
Oh, this was fun. Let's do it again, girl.
Let's do it again. And all the best with everything that you're doing.
Thank you. And congratulations on this, by the way.
Thank you, my dear.
I can't wait to get my hands on my book.
Oh, fantastic.
Finally.
Fantastic. That was our episode with Wezi, which I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for tuning in, and please join us next time. Thank you for tuning in to Women, Resilience and the Will to Lead. I'd like to thank our production team, Keen Kings Media, and our sponsors, F&B Zambia. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and press the subscribe button.